Hey friends, how you doing? It is my favorite time. It's my favorite video to do. It's talking about comics, so let's get to it. Today we're going to be talking about the Spawn universe, primarily Gunslinger Spawn. You see the action figure in the back. You know I got love for Gunslinger Spawn in the Water Spawn universe, so let's get into it. Now, I read Spawn 360 right before this, and so there will be some slight spoilers, but just to give you a sense of our footing right now, I'm going to give you a little bit of what happened. It looks like Greenworld, who took over the throne of Hell after the War for Hell in 350, they're finally making a move on Earth. They're doing something big from the happenings at the beginning of Spawn 360. And Spawn has died. It looks like there's some kind of resurrection thing going on at the end of Spawn 360. So that's where we're at with the Spawn main run. Now we get into this, we pick up with Gunslinger Spawn. If you haven't been following along the dead zones that the Spawn and the Angels use to travel between dimensions, have been open all over Earth, meaning that they have no more powers. And the vampires are the big dogs in town. But at the end of the last issue of Gunslinger Spawn, he was in a prison transport that got attacked by Monolith. And when he was cornered, it seemed like things were desperate. He got his powers back somehow. There was no explanation, but I think it has something to do with Greenworld making a move on Earth and what's happening with Al Simmons. So this picks up right there where he left off. As you know, Gunslinger Spawn can control dogs. So he used the dogs that were hunting him to his advantage, turning them on the men that were tracking him. And then after he subdued them, sent them as kind of a red herring in another direction, but took one with him to assist him. And it's interesting, there's really not too much movement on the Dead Zone storylines right here. This is just his escape and him, discovering that he has his powers back. It's not mentioned how they came back, what's going on with Green World and Hell. But yeah, his powers are back. So there's been some kind of change that I'm thinking will be addressed here soon. He escapes with the dog, and they run into a crazy blizzard, and his attention turns from trying to survive himself and escape himself, but protecting the dog who doesn't have spawn powers, and the dog saved him, so he feels this kinship with the dog, which I think is an endearing quality to a seemingly immortal gunslinger. You can't argue with that. But we leave our hero being attacked by a bear after mistakenly taking shelter in her cave with her cubs. And so this is just very action packed. It feels kind of like a placeholder until we get to this big shift in the wider Spawn universe. Still a fun story that advances Gunslinger Spawn's individual story and gives hints into what may be next in the Spawn universe. So I am excited about this. This is the most I've been excited since 351. So that being said, check out Gunslinger Spawn, Spawn the Scorch. There's a new She Spawn that's going to be released here soon. And the great thing about all of these Spawn titles is that they're at that $2.99 price point, so you don't have to spend an arm and a leg to get a good story. And you can look for me at your local comic book store. And as always, if you don't have a local comic book store, I suggest Coffee and the Comic. They ship nationwide. They have a very easy to use website, coffeeandthecomic.com, and they give you free coffee with every order. So that being said, I'll see you next time. Keep reading them books.